All right, how you doing? This is something a little different for the newbies here. If you were to look at my channel and look at my older videos, you'll see some stuff on survival kits. I was making these survival shirts for a while. It's a thing that's always on my mind. Those of you who've been here long enough know a little bit about my background and my dad. Matter of fact, I think if I do a Sunday night chat tomorrow, I might talk about this at length, because I stumbled upon a picture folder this afternoon from a Facebook page of mine called Los Angeles Urban Survival, which I don't put a lot of effort into these days, and it was pretty cool because there's a bunch of pictures of my dad there, and maybe I'll discuss it at length then. But what we're going to talk about today is a survival thing. This is the Marine Corps Survival Kit. Now, I've had a few of these in the past, over the years, over the decades. I bought a couple of these going back over 20 years ago, and I cut them up and I put the parts in different kits, and every once in a while I look for them. These are very rare nowadays. Now look, I just said that. You might be watching this going, there's an Army Navy store in my little town somewhere that's got 50 of these. Well, dude, if they're affordable, buy them, because these don't pop up too often. This is not something I ever saw when I was in the Corps. Then again, you guys know I didn't do my whole 4 years. That's a whole other story some of you know about. I was an infantry Marine, but we never saw one of these things. And I discovered these years afterwards, and then I finally started looking for them, and I bought them, and they're pretty cool. One thing you're going to find if you go out there and look at other videos on the Marine Corps Survival Kit, number one, you're going to find videos that are much better than this one. I'm saying it right now. I wasn't even aware of it. I saw this kit on eBay and I paid up for it. I paid way too much money for this thing. But I bought it with the intention of not opening it. I'm going to keep it like this and just store it away someplace just for the heck of it. Because I have everything that's in this kit right next to me. Some of the other videos are great because they open it up, they go through the stuff, which we're going to do. But then some of these guys actually test the stuff, which I do plan on doing, just not in this video. That stuff's coming when I start getting out in the van more. You guys will see it. But I just wanted to talk about this because it's such a nifty thing, and as I was saying, what you will learn when you look at those videos is this is a highly regarded survival kit. Out of all the survival kits out there, military survival kits in particular, people know what they're talking about when they go through this. They really think it's pretty good. It doesn't have everything. We'll get into that. But what it does have, it says on it. Now, you see how this is shaped here. You can tell these are vacuum sealed packages. The idea is you slice it down the center, turn it into two pieces, and you stuff them in the cargo pockets of your trousers. Some people will say this is like a rescue or evasion kit. I don't know how true that is. Keep in mind, when you're out in the field, you've got stuff on you already. You already have gear on you. This is just bare essentials to survive, I suppose, until somebody comes along to find you. So every time I want to do a video, I'm verklempt. So what it doesn't have anything for water purification. I just wanted to mention that because when I was back in the old days, in the 80s, and by the way, we're using stuff from the freaking World War II still then. Some of the stuff was from the 60s and 70s, Vietnam era. And we had these plastic canteens that were in these insulated covers that had a little pouch on the side, a little Velcro pouch that had water purification tabs in them. So that should already be on your person anyhow. Now, it says right on here what's in it. The side B, it says it's got a knife. By the way, it has all the military nomenclature numbers on here as well, which I don't feel the need to read off. But in this side, this is side B. How about we talk about side A first? That's usually how it works, huh? Side A is a saw, finger pull. So you guys will see it. It's those rings with the saw on it there. It's got snare wire. It's got a candle. It's got a plastic bag. It's got a survival blanket and a fishing kit. The only thing I don't have anymore are the Ziploc plastic bags. The idea was you open this up and then you put the gear that's in here in the Ziploc bag and then put it back in your pocket. On side B, It's got a pocket knife, which is the demo knife, very popular knife. The numbers that people ask for these things these days is outrageous. By the way, I've got a pile of them here because I collect them. Some of these go all the way back to World War II. We'll do a little talk on that too. I've done videos on the demo knife already. So let's see, pocket knife, signal mirror, whistle. It says whistle extreme cold. I guess it will hold up to the extreme cold without breaking. Compass, called a smoke chaser. It's got a fire starter, magnesium, and it's got a plastic bag and a water bag, drinking, and matches. Okay, let's try to do side A first. Keep in mind, I'm not going to open this. I'll put it off to the side here. We're going to get to this in a moment too. So side A, well, I can't even do this accurately because I know the fishing kit is in here, and inside the fishing kit, I think I put the saw and the snare wire. So let's get to that in a moment. Let's do the things that are already open. Candle. Nothing special about the candle. Every one of the candles I've seen in these kits look just like this. It's like they put it in together in extreme heat or something and squished it down in here, and then it just took that shape. So, but people in other videos have taken these out and they open it. There's a little piece of metal on the bottom, you know, that helps keep your wick in place. And then you got your candle. Now, this is the sort of thing that, I don't know, man. There's a bunch of uses for it. There's morale for one thing. It's nighttime. You can have this going. At least you can see what's going on around you. Maybe you got something to read. I don't know. Helps you start a fire. The other main thing is if it's chilly, there's a survival blanket in here, and you can put the survival blanket over yourself, and you can light this, and the flame from this little candle will create an ambient heat that you're trapping with your poncho liner, or excuse me, rather, we're going to get to this, the survival blanket, and that'll keep you alive if it's real cold. So that's what's in there, first thing. What else do we have here? Survival blanket. Well, there you go. So the survival blanket's pretty neat. I'm not going to go unfolding it because if I did, I'd never get it back together to fit in there. But it's you know, your standard. You guys have seen it's a Mylar blanket. It is shiny on one side. It is OD green on the other. Okay, so nighttime it's cold. Reflective faces you. Reflects your body heat back into yourself. If it's really cold, light your candle, set it up, trap the heat. The OD section, olive drab, the green section, faces out, so it gives you a little bit of concealment, you know, just a little bit of concealment. Also, being this shiny, reflective, you can use this to signal. Somebody's looking for you, a plane, helicopter, whatever, you could do that. So, and this is, you guys can tell, if I open it up this far, you see how much material there is here. You see how, this is pretty large. I haven't opened one up all the way because I don't intend on using one of these things. I've got other bits of kit with me that are, I don't know if I'd say, well, yeah, it's definitely better. But this is what comes in this kit. What's next here? A plastic bag, which I don't have. All right. Now the fishing kit. We're going to open up this fishing kit real quick. And because I put the saw and the snare wire in here. This fishing kit, people talk about this. This is one of the most extensive fishing kits, fishing/survival kits, out of any survival kit you'll ever buy or find, especially military. And you can find these separate, just like this, on eBay. They want $50-$60 just for this. By the way, I did pay up for this. I paid $150 for this thing. Back when I bought them, I was buying them for $60 to $80, but that was like 20 years ago. And even then, I think that was a lot of money for it. Having said that, one of these demo knives now, I mean, sometimes people are asking $100 for these things. It's ridiculous. Back in the late 70s, early 80s, I was finding these for $4 a piece. We'll get to this knife in a minute. But what I'll point out to you is, like, some of them will say USMC or USN or USA on it. A lot of them just say US. That's what I'm looking for. And the ones that are pre, I think, 1972 or something, have a little tab on the actual can opener to help you grab it. That's how you can date these things. This knife here happens to be from 1967. I've got a few here that actually say U.S. Marine Corps on them, with brass liners, and these go all the way back, some of them all the way back to World War II. The World War II versions have a carbon steel. Everything inside's carbon steel, so they'll have like, it's not really rusted at all, but it has a little patina on the metal. This one says U.S. Marine Corps, but it's stainless steel, so it's a little bit later, but they're not marked with a date, so they're pretty old. They probably pre-1960, if I'm guessing. Anyhow, let's get back to this fishing kit. On the front cover here, it'll just tell you what's in it. It says fishing instruction booklet, metal case, pocket size, that's what this is. Treble hooks, size 1, that's 2 of those. 2 straight shank hooks, size 9 and 10. 6 hooks, size 6. 1 liter pack assorted, it says 8 liters. 2 spare snap swivels. 1 mount assembly, 1 monoline 18-pound test, 50 feet. 1 monoline 63-pound test, 50 feet. 1 assembly of assorted needles, 1 assembly of 8 size 3 safety pins, 1 lure spoon, number 6, stainless steel, 1 lure spoon, number 30 with weed guard, stainless steel, 1 lure spoon, number 4, red and white, stainless steel, 1 card leader knots and hitches, it's a little card that shows you how to tie knots, and a single-edged razor blade. This is from a company called Trey-Con Inc., Beverly, Massachusetts. The zip code is 1901915. It says fishing kit survival spec number MIL-F-6218C, and in parentheses it says ASG, NSN 42200024407764. A lot of information on there. It's the military for you. It comes with this black duct tape around it. Helps make this thing secure and watertight. It's a nice thing. And let's get this stuff out of the way. And here we go. So on side A it says finger saw pull. It's got 2 saws, 2 finger pulls. So the way this works is, I mean, it's pretty straightforward. I think you guys could figure it out. Boom. Now, I've seen this in use on video. I haven't used one yet, but basically you just stick this in here. I mean, I feel silly showing this to you because I think this is common sense. You don't need me to show you how this works. You basically fit that right up in here. A smart thing to do, by the way, would take your knife, take your awl, and when you stick this through here, pry up in here, pull that out and bend it over, and then screw this tight, because then you're not just relying on the tension from this set screw. All right, but you get the idea. You put the other one on, boom, and you saw. This also would work good as a garrote. For those of you guys that know what that is. You come up behind somebody, yeah, ruin their day. That is for sure. It's really strange too. It's funny when you talk to people about the things that they teach you in the Marine Corps. It's a mindset. Anyhow, I'll put this back together later. Anyhow, so that's the saw, and this is the really nice, actually, quite a bit of brass. It looks like it's a brass snare wire. So if you don't understand snares, it's about the simplest thing you could possibly do. You look for game trails. If it's on the ground, you can funnel the animals by moving debris around, and basically you take this, you attach one end to something that can't get away from itself, tied off to a tree or something, and then you make a little tiny loop, and you fit it through itself, and then you attach it to something, and you sit that, usually about the size of your fist, and an animal walks through it, catches itself, starts struggling as it tries to get away. It cinches like a noose, and the animal can't get out. Squirrels are really interesting. If you lean like a small tree, like a broken limb up against another tree, if you ever watch squirrels in the woods, they like to climb and run around. Chipmunks, things like that. If you find a little hole in the ground, let's say you chase an animal into it. Let's say you chase a little groundhog or a rabbit or something like that. You want to observe your area. If you observe for a while and you see the animals and you watch where they live, that's the best way to use the snare, because you can put the snare right outside their house, man. I see a lot of people just setting snares willy-nilly, hoping something comes along. But if you can find evidence of animals, right? Animal scat, tracks, things like that, and you're patient, you can find out where they're living, and you get them where they're living. So you got to use your brain there. Now, in the fishing kit, as mentioned, I mean, I just listed everything that is, but you've got a heavy gauge, thickness fishing line and a thinner. So typically freshwater, saltwater. Common sense. Gee whiz, I feel like I need my glasses here. We've got a razor blade, as they said. Here's one of our spoons. This is the red and white one. Now, this has been in the package. I believe the knife I took out of it, I think all these kits that I've seen so far are made in the 1990s. So you'll see like a 1991 or a 1992 marked on your knife blade. Wow, these are all USMC knives. None of these came with this kit, but I got them all over the place. They're in kits all over the place. I even have one in my kitchen. It's how I open my cans. So there's like a little bit of kind of like, for lack of a better term, corrosion. It's not rusty or anything, but this was just packed in here, and it sat in here for, it's well over 30 years now. So we've got a spoon here. We've got all the leaders in here, and a leader is just, and this is pretty cool because they've got nylon and wire leaders with swivels and snap hooks. So that's pretty extensive for a fishing kit. You don't even need this stuff to actually catch a fish, but the fact that they put that in there that's pretty cool. What this is good for is, let's say you set up your line, and there's different ways to do that. You could work right off of this. You could take a hunk of this off. You could roll. You guys have seen this stuff before. You look at survival fishing. But if you set yourself up with a leader and a snap hook, these little spring snaps, well, let's say you're trying with this and it's not working, and you happen to notice smaller fish in the water, well, then you try the smaller one. And you just snap it off and snap a new one on. That's a huge time saver. Huge time saver. So here's a small spoon. Okay. Here is your next size spoon, and this here is that deflector for your this little piece of metal on here is to keep debris from getting caught on the hook as you're pulling it through. So let's say you're seaweed, or fresh water, and you're in an area where there's like a lot of plant life in the water. This is the spoon you want to use because you're less likely to get that caught on anything. It's common sense, right? We've got some triple hooks here. There's another name for these, but I forget. And these are great. So you could hook this up with now I don't think there's any weights in here, but you could figure out a weight. You could find some junk or something. You could take one of these, unscrew this so you don't lose it, use this as an extra weight or something. There's always something you can find to use as a weight. And you could, let's say you got fish in a bed. There's some fish that like to make a little bed, right? They'll pile rocks up sometimes. They'll have eggs in there and they're protecting it. Well, you could throw this over it and pull, and as it gets close, jerk it, and then hook the side of the fish if you can see it. A lot of times in shallow water you can do that sort of thing. These are all things I did as a child. I was literally living like this as a child out in the woods with my dad. It was wild, the stuff that he taught me how to do. So here are your needles. These are sewing needles. These are heavy duty. I mean, they're I don't know how to tell you this, but they're not round. They're like three-sided. They're like triangulated. These are super heavy duty sewing needles. And you can see there's a little corrosion, a little rust. So wherever they assembled this kit, there was just enough moisture in the air when they put this together for a little bit of rust to happen. And here we have the safety pins, and these are great for all sorts of things. I don't think I need to get into that. Pretty cool, though. And the fact that they actually put it on some fabric for you, this is a pretty well-organized kit here. Should be laying this out for you. Oh, excuse me. Our big hooks. Here's our spoons. I think you guys can see all this on the screen. What else do we have? Here's our swivels, and we have some. Okay, there are weights in here. I misspoke. So there's this here would be mostly for salt. Oh no, they got freshwater stuff. So we've got some very large hook, medium-sized hooks, lead weights, and some small hooks. There's the small hooks. Here's the large hooks. No point in taking these out of the package. I'm going to put all this stuff back in here when I'm done. We've got, ooh, there's a couple tiny loose hooks in here, not in the packaging. And they're right here. Put those right there. And now we have a fishing instruction booklet. Let's see if there's anything for fishing under survival conditions. Read carefully. So here you go. I mean, if you got this and you got your candle, keep your mind sane. All the instructions which can be given to man or a group of men facing the rigors of nature with only their wits and a small amount of equipment. Most important is this: keep your head. You have in this kit sufficient equipment to keep you alive for an indefinite period. You can use your own good sense and these instructions to make yourself reasonably comfortable and safe. Be careful with every item of equipment you have. Use and guard it carefully. This is, you know, this is how they talk to you in the military. It's so hot, I'm sweating. Let's see. Your life may depend on it. The materials here can be used for fishing in either fresh or salt water. Many types of fish will take the lures or the bait, which can be used on the hooks included here. If you ever fished before, or if you've never fished before, if you have, these hints may help you. It's hard to read because this is very thin paper, and you can see through the paper. So as you're trying to read it, as I'm trying to read it to you, if I was sitting here by myself, I wouldn't have a problem understanding it. But trying to read the words on here, when it's bleeding through the back side, it makes it a little bit harder to read. Although they are single printed, so that is interesting. And this paper is interesting. I wonder if you could use this for TP. I don't know. Or it would light up on you. This is better. Artificial lures. I'm not going to read each page. There's a lot. See how tiny this print is on here. To fish the fly, you should cast across slightly. They're actually giving you instructions on how to fish. Leaders, hooks. I just want to hit the headings on here. Lines. Don't tie the line to your finger. Yeah, those big hooks. You tie a line to your finger and a big fish comes and gets that. I mean, you could have a 20-pound fish. You could take the tip of your finger right off, or cut right through the skin to the bone, and I've seen stuff like this happen. The whole tip of your finger will come right off. So you don't want to do that. Anyhow, basically, as we always said in the Marine Corps, whatever we had to say. They were asking us what our post was, what the information was on the post. You recited all this information. And then the last thing you always said was, and common sense. Apply common sense to everything. So there's an instruction booklet, which is pretty good. And then in the bottom here, pretty cool, there's a little card with different knots on it. So I'm reading on this side, it says leader knots and hitches. Actually it says it on both sides, but there's just several different knots on here. So that's what's in the fishing kit. That is what's in the fishing kit. Pretty good kit, if you ask me. I don't know that there's a fishing kit like this out there from any other branch of service. In particular, that's this extensive. We'll just get this stuff out of the way. I'll pack this stuff up when I shut the video off. I don't want to waste too much more of your time. This video is probably already getting kind of long. Now, that covers side A. Side B, the pocket knife. All right, so do we have one here? I could have sworn I had one here. Well, I guess we're just going to show you the USMC version. So this is the pocket knife. People refer to this as a demo knife. That's a misnomer. It was this fantasy idea that, like, frogmen in World War II were using this, and maybe using this here to set charges and that sort of thing. It's just not the case. This is your all. I've personally used this. I've done videos on this in the past. You could stick this in wood. I had a piece of wood here. And just stick it in. You could drill a hole. So if you took you could basically build things with that. So if you could drill a hole and you got line or paracord or whatever, it helps you to secure things. Also, let's say you're out there for a while and you're losing weight, punching a little hole in your belt, clean out your fingernails. This thing comes in handy. Oh, I use this all the time on all the knives. This was the #1 used item in this knife. I've been carrying one of these in my pocket since I was about 14 years old. You've got a decent blade. This is very simple stuff. You have a can opener. Guys like to make the joke for the Marines because it's the Marine survival kit that actually says can opener on it, as if we wouldn't know any better. One of the things I like to do is I like to take a round file and I like to sharpen this inside edge and make it very sharp. When you do that, you turn this into another tool. So you can use this then. I use something like that to open boxes a lot of the time, but this is how I open every can. So every week when I make my stew and I'm opening up my little can of tomato sauce or tomato paste, this is what I use. I'm very proficient with it. Use it. If you use this all the time, if you're ever in a situation where this is what you have, you already know how to use it. So it's pretty good. But as I mentioned, you can use this here. If you sharpen it, you can make it a better tool. As a matter of fact, on the bottle opener, you've got a flathead screwdriver. This is another thing that I do where I'll file this more square for better bite. I took one of these as an experiment and I made this a little bit narrower here. And what that did is it made it so it would fit in a Phillips head screw. So modify your stuff. Also, there's a hard enough edge on here. It's going to come in handy in a minute. I'll show that to you with one of the next items coming up here. We'll leave this out here. So pocket knife. This is all stainless steel. Good quality stuff. Oh, another thing on this. I see people do this all the time. Don't do it. So if you look back here, I can show it better to you on the World War II version because of the contrast. So you'll see there are 2 stainless steel pieces, and on this one there's brass separating them. What this tells you is that these 2 items that are next to each other share this one piece, and that's a spring. You never want to open the 2 items on the same spring at the same time with this knife. If you do, you can break it. I've got a few of these. Now this one actually broke. I didn't do that. I didn't open 2 things at the same time, but I was using this so often that this one's from 1994. You can see the can opener and bottle opener just flying open now on their own because they no longer have a spring. I have a few others that are broken that people have actually given me, and I'm thinking I can take one of these knives apart and put a bunch of parts together and make one good knife from a couple broken ones. But just never open 2 items that share the same spring at the same time. Don't even open them halfway to show it. I see this on videos all the time. People open the blades to show you what's in it and hold it up because they think it looks cool. Every time you do that, you're stressing the spring. This little tidbit that I'm giving you right now is the reason I wanted to do this video. I believe that the other videos out there on this survival kit are better. They're taking the items out, they're using them, all that stuff, but they're not giving you this sort of knowledge. This is the important stuff. Same thing, some of the tips I gave you, like with the snare wire. They're not telling you how to hunt with it. That booklet doesn't tell you how to hunt with it. I'm telling you how to hunt with it. All right. What's next here? Signal mirror. All right. Here's the signal mirror. Signal mirror is still in the box. Pretty cool. Let's see if there's anything interesting on here. Mirror emergency signaling, 2" by 3" acrylic mirror, School of Survival Specialties Inc., aka also known as SOS Survival Life Support, 3808 North Sullivan Road, SIP number 6, Spokane, Washington, with the zip code. Yeah, there's a bunch of information on here. You guys don't need to hear all of it. But what we have here is a failure to communicate. Inside the Ziploc bag is this little survival mirror, signal mirror. It's got a protector on it. Look at that. So this will clean up, but there you go. There you go. See that? So the instructions are on the back. I don't think I really need to explain this to you, but I will. It says on the back here, mirror signaling instructions. Reflects sunlight from mirror onto nearby surface, raft, hand, etc. So it's going to show you how to use it first, and then it's going to show you how to aim. But basically, there's a plane up here. You're looking through the hole. There's a little star back here. You're going to look through that, find the sun, find that, and boom. Now, SOS is, what is it, 3 fast, 3 slow, 3 fast? I think that's what that is. But they're just, you don't have to do that. Just showing them if they're looking for you, they're going to find it. And you can see this from, I want to say, tens of miles away. I believe that that's true. I actually happen to have an original World War II mirror. I think I see it in the original box. Let me get that for you. You guys know what I do with these videos. I'm all over the place. Oh, this is super cool. This is what they had in World War II and the 1950s. I bought this because I have a 1950s era, like 52 survival kit that's still original that had one of these in it, and I didn't want to separate that mirror. But I'll just show you the difference. So this is the original packaging and everything, World War II. 1 emergency signal mirror, ESM spec 406. This package contains 1 emergency signal mirror with which the attention of persons at a distance in ships, aircraft, etc. may be attracted by a beam of reflected sunlight. A positive means of aiming the reflected beam of light is provided. Instructions are printed on the other side of the package and mirror. This is from the General Electric Company, Market Street, Warren, Ohio. And it actually has the instructions on the back. This is awesome. I just love this old vintage military stuff. There's that. Instructions are printed on the box. But look at this. This is older than all of us, man. This is so cool. It's got the original lanyard still attached to it. And on the back side here is the instructions. And what I like about this is it's a decent mirror. Like if you needed to like get something out of your eye, you want to admire your handsome looks, you know, you just want to look at yourself, you know, because you love yourself so much. You got to fix your beard, which you've grown now because you've been out in the bush for 3 or 4 months because you didn't want to go back. What I really like about this mirror in particular is from this side, it's just a mirror. And all you see is this little X or cross in the center. But that is all you need to look through. Like I'm looking through this right now and I can see the entire room. My vision's not obstructed at all, just through those 2 little lines right there. So let's see, I'll just briefly read some of what's on the back here. So it says emergency signal mirror, hold this side of the mirror close to face, look through this mirror. I don't have to go through all this. It's common sense. But this is, I would say about 1/4 of an inch thick, and it's glass. I don't know if it's tempered or not, but this is just, it's one of my favorite things, and I have not even thought about this in forever. The fact that I just thought of it and it was sitting right there for this video is spectacular. Pretty cool. Pretty neato. You can find these. I found this on eBay, I don't know, maybe 15 years ago or so. But that's what they used to give you. This is what they were giving you in the 90s. It's plastic. But it works. Does the same exact thing. So, you know, you guys get the idea. Hope you're enjoying this. This is probably not professional at all. I'm trying to put this back together so that it won't become ruined. Let's put this back in the bag. Boom. Put that to the side. What's next? We're on side B still. Whistle extreme cold. Now, it actually has information on this. It's just cast into the plastic. It says ACR meets U.S. Coast Guard requirements. Jeez. It's pretty loud. Pretty loud, this thing. This is good. So let's say, well, we'll get to this in a minute. So there's your whistle. Here's your knife. Let's keep your signal mirror out. Let's keep all the gear out here for side B. So you guys can see it as I'm talking. Get my spectacles out of the way here. What else do we got? What do we got next? Compass smoke chaser. All right. It's interesting. I've watched people when they take this kit apart and they talk about this compass. For some reason, they want to talk smack about it. They're unimpressed with it. Well, they're unimpressed with it because they're comparing it to the latest and greatest gadgets that we have today. In the early 90s, this was actually, I think it was pretty good. My Lanzetta compass, I still have a Lanzetta compass. It's in the van in one of my other survival kits. And I opened that up to use it on the last camping trip. And I had to keep tapping it to try to get it to work. It's just too old. I think it was folded up for too long. Maybe there's some corrosion in it or something. You're not going to have that problem with this because it's all plastic. I'm assuming that the arms in here are not. I know this is telling me where north is. And so we've got some scales on here. We've got an inch scale. We've got 16th inch scale. We've got a mile reader. 1 equals 24. That says 24,000. I don't understand that. It's a Brunton compass. And yeah, so if you've got a map, this will help you to figure out where you're going. Also has a magnifying glass built into it. So for those of you that were burning insects when you were a kid, there you go. You can start a fire with that. And this helps you orient. Again, whenever you have something that moves around like this, it has the cardinal points on it and all the degrees. If you're just in the woods, you're trying to do dead reckoning to get from here to there, and you kind of know the direction you have to travel in, and you're looking for specific points on the horizon that you know about, you just need direction. All the other stuff on here helps you if you actually have a map, like a topographical map that you're going to open up and set in front of you. Boom. You're going to orient the map so that it reads exact with the compass, and now you can use the degrees on here and turn this if you know specifically where you're going to the degree. That's when this is helpful. What's next? That was the compass. Fire starter magnesium. Oh, there. Here's the knife that came with the kit. This one just says US on it. This is yeah, this is a 1991. Let's get the USMC out of here. Actually, it's funny because this is a USMC kit. You would think the USMC knife came in it, but it didn't. As far as I know, they all just have the US marked demo knives in there. And I keep calling it the demo knife, and that's not what the military called it. Magnesium fire starter. There's some information on here. Let's see what it says. Instruction sheet. You know what? This is steel sealed. Should I open it? Let's open it. I wasn't going to open anything, but we'll open this. It's not the end of the world. Do I look like an old guy with the glasses on? Jeez, I'm telling you. I did not need glasses until this year. I probably did need them. I just never used them before. You can actually fix these. You see the electrical tape on here? I used super glue and some electrical tape to fix this pair because I stepped on them. I've got about 12 pairs of these that are missing arms because I sit on them and break them. It's ridiculous. All right. This is why you're here. You're not here for the information. You're here for me being ridiculous. All right. Well, what I can tell you is there's a ferro rod, ferrocium rod here, and this is magnesium. And so what you want to do is you want to scrape off some of the magnesium, and then you want to get a spark. Now, let's see if this will do it. There we go. So, now, if you don't know how to start a fire this way, you don't really typically need the magnesium. The magnesium helps if you're in a damp environment because it burns hot and burns for a little bit, so it's good stuff. But if you're in a dry environment like the desert or something like that, and you get enough tinder together, just a spark should start. But I wanted to point out to you that on this particular knife, your best spot for a hard edge to get a spark is on the can opener. This is wool. It's not going to just spark up on you. It's another thing I should mention. Wool, cotton, silk, not typically flammable. You can burn it, but a spark isn't going to set it on fire, which is ironic to me because van life, things like that, modern stuff that fleeces that people are wearing, polypropylene, oil-based products are flammable. So, think about that with your gear. Anyhow, you guys get the idea. So you can scrape off some of the magnesium, hit it with a spark, and that's going to... It's pretty amazing stuff. It's really cool. I just told you what it was. Let's see what the instructions say. Oh, look at this. There's pictures and everything. Wow. That's pretty cool. Doan Magnesium Fire Starting Tool. Yeah, so everything I just told you. This is from 1984, and there's a phone number. Oh, man. I'm filming on my phone. That's how I film everything. But if I was using a camera right now, I'd be tempted to call this phone number to see if anybody answers. If you want to know what the number is, it's 216-391-7410. 1984. That's wild. Did not expect that. All right. Everything I just said is in the instructions. All right. So we got this. We got all these things here. What's next? Plastic bag, which we don't have anymore. That's just a Ziploc bag. Water bag, drinking. Oh, yeah. Pretty neat. These, again, watch the videos. People have taken these out. This is really heavy-duty, thick rubber. So it's got a means to put it on a belt. And then you can... what is this? I wonder what this is here. It's not Ziploc. I know the joke. I'm hired. I know. So there you go. It has a buckle here and a fastener. So you go ahead and you fold this over, put your water in there, run this through the buckle to secure it. The water doesn't fall out as you're walking. You could put this on your belt and walk away. Now, I always have cordage on me. The way I would probably do this, if this was the only thing I had to carry water in, I'd probably run some paracord through this and roll it over my shoulder and carry it that way. Quick thing on water, as I mentioned in the beginning of the video, you would typically have a canteen with you with water purification tablets. This kit does not come with water purification tablets, but I will mention to you, if you are in the wilderness, it's a nice place and there's trees and plants around and everything else, and you've got a fast-moving brook, that water's probably safe to drink. You'd probably be okay with that. I mean, use your judgment on that. If you're surrounded, if you've got a nice brook and it looks beautiful, but you're surrounded by, a suburban area or something, you're nervous that it's going to be polluted, that's a different story. If you're close to manufacturing businesses, things like that, you might not want to do that. Having said that, let's say you're out in the middle of somewhere and you got some standing water or you've got some moving water. What you would want to do is get away from the water a few feet, and hopefully you got a way to dig. If you don't, maybe take your knife, get a stick, flatten an edge out. You'll figure it out. Basically, you want to create an implement that you can dig with. And what you want to do is you want to dig a hole a couple feet away from the water that's right there that you're looking at. All right? Dig it as deep down as you can get it. A foot, 16 inches, 18 inches, 2 feet, whatever you can get to. And it should be at least a foot deep. And what you want to do is just sit there and wait. And what's going to happen is the water that's right here, whether it's rolling by or whether it's sitting there, it's going to seep through the dirt. And it's going to fill that hole. And you're going to let it sit till it looks clear, because there might be some sediment because you just dug all that out. And now your water is probably pretty safe to drink, because the amount of ground that moisture, that water had to travel through is going to filter out protozoa and things like that. So it's a safe way for you to get some drinking water. Also for water, if you've got this here, and let's say you're in, might sound crazy, now not a super dry area, but deserts that have, if you were on the desert, like the high desert in particular, you'll notice in the morning there's dew on things. That's moisture. So what you would do is you'd either find an area that has like a divot in it or create one, and then put this out across it and find some rocks and make it taut and put a rock in the middle. And then what you want in the bottom there is you want something to collect water, like this little tin right here. You want to put that right in the center. And you want to have this thing here stretched out across the top of it, nice and tight. And you want to put maybe your candle right in the middle. Boom. Right above this tin. Right above this tin here. And what'll happen is you leave it like that overnight, and in the morning and late morning you come up, and what's going to happen is the condensation from the ground is going to collect on the bottom of this, and it's going to run right to this point, and it's going to drip, 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 and this will be full of water, and you'll be able to drink. So just a little survival tip for you. For those of you that didn't know that, probably most of you knew that already. But these are things. Here's the thing about survival. Knowledge weighs nothing. So this kit with your brain is enough to keep you alive. We have anything left here? Matches. Oh yeah. You got these hurricane matches in here. It's pretty funny. Hurricane match, windproof, weatherproof, safety matches, Davis Instruments, Howard, California, USA, 20 matches, made in Switzerland. Isn't that odd? They got a whole California address and they tell you that they're made in Switzerland. Let's see here. The hurricane match is formulated to light and stay lit in the strongest wind. The matches in striking service are treated with a special coating that resists moisture. Store in dry locations such as a closed plastic bag. Oops. None of those plastic bags anymore. Oops. Oopsie. Should matches or striking surface get soaked, dry out to restore effectiveness. Oh, now that's interesting. I wasn't aware of that. So if this gets wet, falls in the water, take it out, let it sit in the sun, and apparently they're still going to work. So, I'm not going to strike one. Should I strike one? Let's strike one. I don't want to waste them. They're kind of cool. Wow, they might not work. This is pretty old. You know what it is? It's the striker. Wow. You can see the smoke? I mean, these are older than the last 3 girls I went out with. You know what I'm saying? I broke it. All right, we're not going to use these right now. You know what I like? I like the wooden strike anywhere matches, and I put those in all my kits. And I save those little crazy glue containers, and I usually fill them up and I stick them in my kits. And you can strike them with your fingernail and get them to light. Now, they might not stay lit as long as one of these matches, but you've got your candle. So you strike your match, you light your candle, now you can light something. There's a bunch of other little tips you can use as well. But that's what's in there. So here's the whole kit. That's everything that's in this little package here. And I'm going to keep this pristine the way it is. Now, let's push all this aside here. I'll put all this away. And I just wanted to show you guys something here. And this is not complete anymore because I just opened it up to find a few of these items. This is an M16 mag pouch. All right, it holds 3 30-round AR-15 or M16 magazines. And on the sides, typically, there's like this little piece of fabric that has a closure with a snap on it, and that's to hold grenades. So you can put a grenade on each side of it. And it's got the Alice clips on the back here, and it's got this here. This helps if you want to hook it up to your suspenders. That takes the weight off your waist. This is the Alice system I used when I was in. This, you can put a pretty extensive survival kit into one of these, and this was a pretty good kit. Not everything is in it anymore, but just briefly, I want to open this up and show you, because this whole kit, everything that I just took out of this survival kit here, you could fit into this and still have room for a bunch of other stuff. And you've got yourself a nice compact thing. You could take this and throw it in your car, throw it in the trunk of your car, throw it in your backpack. Basically have it with you anytime. I use Alice packs for rucksacks. This fits in one of those outside pockets. If you've got this and a poncho liner, maybe another tarp, a fixed blade knife, a water filter system, you know, the good stuff, you are good to go. You're good to go, man. You could, with your brain, keep your shit together, you can survive just about anything. But what I have in here, here's an emergency blanket. This was a free thing at a gun show I went to years ago. It's all stainless steel. Actually, this is kind of neat. ARC Light, CUDA USA, Darryl Ralph design. It had a chain, and you wear it here. All right, so pretty cool. Nice thing to have in a survival kit. I also have, if you're gonna have a blade, you should have a way to sharpen it. It's a pretty good little Lansky knife sharpener. It's got the diamond thing here. It's got a, you know, some of these even have a ferro rod built into them. I've got a bunch of, I think this is like a jute twine. So this is great. Setting up a shelter. Also good for tinder to start a fire. I don't have to tell you what this is good for. It's good for everything. This is a tin, so you unfold this and put water in it. You can cook or boil your water. I've got a Gerber multi-tool in here. I mean, do I even have to tell you? It's got everything. It's got a, I think it's got a saw in here. It's got a file. It's got a knife. It's got a can opener. Obviously, it's got a set of pliers, wire cutters. A buddy of mine had one of these in Iraq, and a tank ran over it, and the thing still worked. All right, I just got a few things in this tin. Nothing important, but we'll open it. And then what I have here is this same fishing kit. But I just wanted to show it to you. I'm not going to open it out completely like I did the other one, but I added some things to it. This is what I wanted to show you. Well, in here, I just threw a bunch of stuff in here that I had. The whistle was in here. I found another one to replace it, so I got a whistle in here. Birthday candles. Take your match or your lighter, light this, and then you can light other things. Chapstick. Helps you with your tinder, start a fire. It works as chapstick. Put it on your nose for sunburn, things like that. I've got extra snare wire in here. I've got a little spot in my teeth where stuff always gets caught, so I always have these on me. And then here's the crazy glue container. You could put a fishing kit in here or anything, but I've got a bunch of Strike Anywhere matches. I got a candle in here. So these little crazy glue containers are amazing. Also, you can label them, so you can have meds in here. You got aspirin in one. You could have, you know, it's interesting. You got basically have a bandolier with a bunch of these stuck in it, and each one could have different survival gear in it, as long as they're labeled correctly. You won't have to want to open every one of these up to look for what you're looking for. But it's amazing. I'm pretty thrifty with stuff. And this thing here, the way that it closes, this is pretty watertight. I've experimented with that. You throw that in the water, it'll float, and the stuff in it isn't going to get wet. So this is just something I came up with. I never saw anybody else do it. This is just my thing. In the past, or in a lot of my other kits, you'll see me do this thing where I put duct tape around it. So you got duct tape, and then I'll put snare wire around this end up here so it doesn't pop off. So I put snare wire, duct tape, and then I rub the tape around the wire. So then this in itself becomes a self-contained miniature survival kit. All right. On the back of this fishing kit, I've got a Fresnel lens, so that's a magnifying glass. Again, you can start a fire with that, or if you don't have glasses with you, you need to read something, that'll help with that. And let's see here. This glasses thing is for the birds, man. All right, here we go. You can see I put different duct tape on this because, well, there we go. I mean, I need some more because this stuff just rips. This black stuff that comes on the kit lasts a lot longer than this gray stuff. But then again, this might be some cheapo duct tape. I don't know. I don't remember where I got it. It's like Christmas. There's a chance I might be on another channel, Iridium 242. You guys know George. He had that whole channel dedicated to prepping, and the new guy, Matt, is running the channel, and he's been having guests come in and open these battle boxes that they get in. And I think it would be fun to do that. If I do that, I'll be doing it maybe in November, October, November. I don't know. I'll keep you guys posted. All right, come on. Because what I would do if they have me do it is I'll do it for them, and then I'll do another version for my channel right there at the same time. Let's see here. Come on. This is ridiculous. This duct tape. See, if I was a better YouTuber, I'd be able to just fast forward this for you, so you wouldn't have to watch me struggle with this. This is ridiculous. It'll open. I'm sure it'll open. There we go. So, you can see right here, if you have a keen eye, there's the Frenzel lens falling off. I got a lot of extra gear in here. What I was able to do was take that fishing kit. I got the saw. Everything else is in here, but I also put a button compass in here. Which is accurate. And I was able to squeeze one of the knives in here. And I think this is the era. Probably came right from this kit. Oh, no, look at that. This one says 1978. I'm taking this out, and I'm going to put the 1991 one in here. Because this is way cooler. 1991, that year for me, you know. I've got green snare wire, so I put this in, which means it probably doesn't have the brass snare wire that came with the kit in here. That must be somewhere else. And I put a nice fat ferro rod in here, ferrocium rod, so I could start a fire. That's it. Oh, look at this. I've even got a bunch of strike anywhere matches I stuffed in here. So my point is, you take that tin with that whole fishing kit, and if you carefully do this, you could put a whole bunch, that is not how that was, is it? You could put a whole bunch of extra gear in this kit and make it that much more extensive. So just, you know, this is just letting you know, I'm not just another pretty face. Don't let the tattoos fool you. Getting it back together is a bitch, but but you can do it. Oh, you bastard. Ooh, I think we got it. Okay. We just got to put the tape on there. I'm going to have to do that. And then, yeah. So you put the lens back on there. Now, you've got your fishing kit, just like the one that came with the USMC survival kit. But now this here alone, with all the extra gear I put in here, this alone is pretty extensive. Think about it. I've got the knife in there. I've got the ferrocium rod. I've got a compass in there. And I've got matches. That's pretty cool, man. So I just wanted to show you that. And I just want to show you that something this small, you could put this kit and all this extra gear. There's still more room in here for more stuff. It doesn't have to be super elaborate, okay? By the way, your survival kit, these survival kits, in my opinion, are not designed for you to be going out necessarily and using these to actually fish or actually start a fire or actually need this. You're supposed to have that gear already. This is a small kit that you have that you keep in the car because you don't have anything else in there. And something happens, and let's say there's pictures on that Los Angeles Urban Survival page where there's people walking home because there's fires. And then the next picture is all their cars are burnt out. You know, or you're in a snowstorm. Whatever. These things can keep you alive in different scenarios. So that's all. I just wanted to show you guys the U.S. Marine Corps survival kit. Pretty cool thing. I showed you everything that's in it, but I still get to show you at the end what it looks like before you open it. And I hope you guys enjoyed this. It seems like it was probably a long video. I didn't look at the time beforehand. I hope you've been thoroughly entertained and not too bored. And for all the know-it-alls out there watching this going, he doesn't know what he's talking about, you know what? You might be right. If you got a better idea than something I said here, please chime in down there in the comments and let me know. I don't know everything. And you never stop learning, man. So maybe you guys can teach me something. That's it for now. You guys have a great day. Be kind to one another. And hopefully you'll never need this stuff. I'll catch you in the next one.